All right, we got a fight this weekend. Canelo Alvarez versus Sergey Kovalev. A fight nobody asked for, but hey, man, it's happening. This is a boxing channel. It's got some intrigue in it. But Canelo Alvarez claims that he's the #1 pound-for-pound fighter in the world, and I want to talk about that because I think that is a very interesting conversation to have. Also, we'll talk about some things that Kovalev said leading into the fight, and let's talk about that in this video. All right, welcome back to the channel, subscribers. If you're not subscribed, please subscribe and hit the bell icon so you can be notified of when we release more videos. Also, I want to say thank you very, very much to everybody that supports on the Patreon and everybody that supports in the live streams Monday through Friday and Sunday on OG Boxing Talk with my co-hosts Trap House Boxing, KQKC Boxing, Curtis Anderson, and Blood Boxing. 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, Central Standard Time, Sunday. Make sure you're there. That's when we wrap up the week with the boxing talk. Yeah, so let's get into this. Canelo Alvarez says that was asked a question about whether he thinks he should be put on #1 pound for pound over Vasily Lomachenko and Terence Crawford. His answer is yes, I've done more than they have. I've accomplished more than they have. And anybody that wouldn't put me as the #1 pound for pound guy, maybe they just don't like me. Hey, he has a point. He has a point. And for somebody who has consistently, for a good amount of time, I had Canelo Alvarez as the #1 guy, pound for pound guy, based on many of the things that he just said. I think that there's reasons for it, but there's some huge reasons against it. Truthfully, though, and I'm going to go through what I think the reasons for it and against it are, but I'm going to say this thing. I have Terence Crawford as the #1 pound for pound guy, as the pound for pound guy in boxing. That's who I have there, and I replaced Canelo Alvarez with Terence Crawford. And I did it for the one word, Kimbuterol. Kimbuterol. That's the reason I moved him. People might not believe it because I get on Canelo Alvarez. I get on Canelo Alvarez. I get on Terence Crawford. People a lot of times don't think I'm a fan of Terence Crawford. I don't get on Errol Spence Jr. a lot because I don't really find any reason in the ring to get on Errol Spence Jr. But Deontay Wilder, I don't get on Deontay Wilder a lot because I don't think there's a lot of reasons to get on Deontay Wilder in the ring. Canelo Alvarez, though, there's more reason to get on him and I have to point out certain things about this guy, even though I think in the ring, this guy is he has proven that he's the real deal. So when Canelo says that he should be, I understand. Canelo, I think, has, without a doubt, the better wins of everybody. He's got Hall of Famers on his resume. And that's a fact. You can say whether he did it, how old they were, whether they were smaller, this, that, or the other thing, but he does. He's got Shane Mosley. He's fought Floyd Mayweather Jr. Even though, he lost that. I have no idea how he got a draw on one of those cards, not winning a round. But it is what it is. He's fought Cotto. He's beaten Gennady Golovkin. He's fought he's fought a bunch of very, very solid fighters. He fought Trout. He beat Lara. I don't think he actually beat Trout and he beat Lara. But look, man, I'm telling people, and I'm trying to be as consistent as I can be with this. I respect the judges' scorecards. When the judges, I think Regis Prograis beat Josh Taylor. And honestly, if you looked at the scorecards, he was one round away from that being a majority draw. Other people don't agree with me, but the fact of the matter is Josh Taylor got that decision. You can agree with a decision that came for Deontay Wilder or a draw with Deontay Wilder with Tyson Fury or not. But at the end of the day, that's what it says in Fight Facts. That's what it says in BoxRec. That's how the judges scored it. It is what it is. That's the win. So he beat Lara. He beat Trout. He beat Mosley. He beat Cotto. He beat Gennady Golovkin. Those are better, more significant wins than anybody else that is currently acting that's currently active has, with the exception of a Manny Pacquiao, who, at 40 years old, maybe going on 41 years old, I wouldn't put him up there. So Canelo also has he's fought at multiple weight divisions. He won titles at 154. He won titles at 160. He's won some crap that I don't count at 168. He more than likely, if he beats Sergey Kovalev, will have a belt at 175. And that's pretty much what Lomachenko and Terence Crawford have done as well. So I completely understand why he could feel like that. And he's been doing it at that level. And he's accomplished these things over a longer period of time than Lomachenko has, and a longer period of time than Terence Crawford has. This guy's got a bunch of fights, and although he's only 28, 29 years old, this guy's got, I can't remember, I'm not going to pull up his record for here, but I know he's got well over 40 fights. I probably should know what, let me see what Canelo's is. We're going to do it in this video. But anyway, the guy's got a whole lot of fights, man. A whole lot of fights. So at 29 years old, more fights than Lomachenko, more fights than Terence Crawford, and I think those are all legitimate reasons to believe that he is, and that's why I had him. But the problem happened with Canelo Alvarez is the Clenbuterol. When you test positive for performance-enhancing drugs and you have to serve a suspension, then I got to wonder whether or not your success has anything to do with that. And that is just very, very hard for me to overcome, which is why I've got Canelo Alvarez at number 2 underneath Terence Crawford. Now, there's another aspect of Canelo Alvarez's skill for me that would have him high, which is his ability to fight. I think Canelo Alvarez can really fight. Even if he was at 154, if he was 154 pounds, still fighting at 154 pounds against any of these guys that I think he should fight, like Charlo, Andrade, any of these guys, I think Canelo Alvarez has a very, very good chance to win because Canelo Alvarez is a very, very good fighter. He's got very good offense. He's got very good defense. His head movement is exceptional. This guy can stand in the pocket and make you miss. He is a top-notch fighter. He is the real deal in a boxing ring. And I say that he's just as real a deal as Terence Crawford. He's just as big or more of a real deal than Vasily Lomachenko. For Vasily Lomachenko, it's tough where a guy got 12 fights. Or he's got 14 fights. Anything can happen. If you fight 40 times, anything can happen. You can break your hand in the middle of the fight and have to get through the fight with a broken hand. You could be fighting somebody that is a bad style matchup for you. For example, Canelo Alvarez and Erislandy Lara. That is a difficult style of fight for Canelo Alvarez. And he fought that fight. He won that fight. Canelo Alvarez has fought pretty much every style of fighter. But now what he's doing now, he's not quite doing that. Right now, he's looking for flat-footed Eastern European fighters to fight. Truthfully, flat-footed European fighters to fight. And that right now is it's a hit on what he's doing right now. But still, I get his point. But the Clenbuterol, when you test positive for performance-enhancing drugs, it is what it is, dude. It's not gonna work, man. It's not gonna work. I cannot keep somebody that is tested positive for performance-enhancing drugs that as the top guy. Now, here's the truth of the matter, though, for me. Now, I say that Terence Crawford is my number 1 guy pound for pound because I get those questions a lot. People say, "Who do you think it is? Who do you think it is?" And for a while, and occasionally, I try to remind myself as much as other people, but remind myself as much as anybody else that this stuff doesn't even matter. Who the pound for pound best fighter is some way to market fighters that are never going to fight each other. And is a way, in my opinion, to give credit to a marketing mechanism that's designed to give credit to certain promoters, fighters, and to keep their name being mentioned for what they could do hypothetically against somebody else and against a fight that will never happen. You have guys like Monster Inoue on a pound for pound list for no good reason whatsoever. No good reason whatsoever. The guy has not, he's fought in multiple divisions. He's beaten guys that I guess some people have heard of over there in Japan. But those are weight classes that are separated by 2 and 5 pounds. That's not, you can literally go to the bathroom and drop 3 weight classes when you're fighting at 115 pounds. You know what I mean? You could have some spaghetti. You could have some spaghetti with a big side. You could have some spaghetti and with a big side of mustard greens. And right after that, and 24 hours later, you've dropped from 215. You dropped from 215 down to 205, right in time for weigh-in. And boom, when you get up, you're back up there to 118. Who cares? The pound for pound list is it's just a marketing ploy at this point in time. It's a way to give people credit. It's almost like a championship. It's like, not only do we have 4 different sanctioning bodies with 4 different, and some of the sanctioning bodies have multiple belts and champions for the same weight division, right? Not only do you have that, now you have this championship, pound for pound championship that rests outside of that, which is purely speculative. So, whatever is clever. The fact of the matter is Canelo Alvarez is a very good fighter that tested positive for performance enhancing drugs. And as a result, regardless of the level of competition that he's fought, regardless of the amount of skill that he has, regardless of the amount of money that he brings in, it's muddied. And it's muddied for good. And same thing for Dillian White. Same thing for Luis Ortiz. Same thing for any of these guys that have tested positive for performance enhancing drugs and continue to fight. When you're doing this pound for pound thing, you got to wonder where you got his poundage from. But it is what it is. Let me know what you think in the comment section. And with that, I'm out. Peace.